So welcome once again, friends, and we are glad to have you back again in this evening session. In the morning session, we introduced the pivot table, and there we discussed the objectives that we hope to achieve. We looked at what pivot table is, and we defined them and tried to explain them. We also looked at the rules governing pivot tables. We looked at their functions and their uses. We also learned how to create pivot tables from the data that we have. Okay, and we demonstrated how we can use pivot table to perform its functions. We looked at the summaries, we looked at the counting, we looked at filtering, and we looked at reorganizing, how we're able to present our data in different perspectives when we want to look at it. And then we started a bit of dashboards. And so this evening, we are going to go in depth of the dashboards, how to construct the dashboards so that you'll be able to put your graphs on them. And then we are going to look at how we'll be able to link our data, and the graph to the text on the data, how we'll be able to bring in other objects on our dashboard, how we will use slicers, timeline to connect our reports and make them visually appealing. And then if we have time today, we'll look at how we can use pivot charts to introduce charts and graphs. And then we use them on the dashboards that we have learned how to create. And then basically tomorrow we'll be looking at scenarios. The scenarios are really going to give us how we'll be able to apply real life situations. Fambala, your hand is up. Can you go ahead and speak?
Yes, it's just that request. I want to make a request on the slides you presented this morning. If you can get the slide, not the recorded, but the slide that contains the rules of high pivot table, the advantage, the objective of this session, and other things like that. Those slides that you presented in the morning, please, if you can get them so that we can be using them frequently.
If you got the file that we worked with, the two of them were attached. So the presentation is also attached.
Okay, thank you. I will check back.
Okay. So those are the things that we'll be doing. And hopefully by tomorrow, when we start the scenarios, if possible, we can even start scenarios today, depending on our speed. But I believe that what we are going to be doing won't take us much time. So we can look at scenarios and look at how we'll be able to do calculations using pivot table to derive variables that were not originally on our data sets. Okay, so I believe you can still see my sheet. So you can see my sheet, right? The employees table. I got a request during the morning session for us to use this. So we are going to be using this to do a lot of things. So if I were the one who is going to be analyzing this data, I would like to create a dashboard. So I'm going ahead to create a dashboard. Dashboard, like I tried to explain in the morning, I can say every one of us on this call is either we have ever sat on the front of a car to see the dashboard. If not, every one of us drives one. You will see the dashboard gives you a summary of what is happening at the various areas of the car. You can see what's happening on your fuel level. You can see what's happening as you are running, the odometer. You can also see the speedometer itself, telling you how fast you are running, the progress you are making. The odometer will also tell you the grounds. I mean, the distance you have covered and so on and so forth. We are aware of that. So it's something that gives you a summary in a glance, and it is usually captured on a page. So we are going to create one right now, and it's usually done on a sheet. Most times when we are making presentations using PowerPoint, we can export our graphs and charts onto the presentation slides. However, when you do that, you are most likely going to lose some functionalities like the slicers. I don't know if there are innovations that have brought in the ability to use slicers on PowerPoint presentations, because the Excel sheets can also be found there on the PowerPoint. So I'm looking forward one day to hear that, yes, on the PowerPoint, we can actually use slicers. Okay, so in the absence of that functionality, we can create a dashboard right on our Excel worksheet. So I'm going to create a new worksheet. I hope you can see this worksheet that is this sheet 3 I've just inserted. So I'm going to do some alteration on this sheet to make it look like a dashboard. The first thing I can do is to remove these lines, these grid lines that has presented our cells. So I go to my view tab, and you see my grid line is checked, so I will uncheck it. Those lines are off. Now, you see this, my A, B, C, D, those column labels, the column labels or the column headers, I can also remove them. So I will check here, the header is gone. If I also like, I can remove this formula bar for me to capture space. I remove this. Now I am getting space. Now, some of these things that we are doing here may affect other sheets. Let's see if these ones have affected them. You see these ones, it has not. So this is the only one that it has affected. Okay, so we are good to go. However, if you still want to capture more of spaces here, on any of these, you can double click. So let me double click this, goes off. So I have a very large space to paste my charts and my graphs. Okay, so these are some of the things that you will be you may want to do. However, just know that once you collapse this last one, the ribbon here, only the tabs are visible. And for you to make any use of any one of them, you need to click to activate it. So for instance, I'm going to click insert, so that I can pick an object. On our dashboard, there is always a need to introduce objects on your dashboard. So one of them is, let me come to under illustrations here. These ones, they may be found elsewhere. You may not see them under illustrations. You may just see them as somewhere here, like shapes. Yes, and so these other things, they may just be out here. So for me, we can come here, depending on how you want to present your dashboard, there are a few things that you can pick from here. Like this one, I pick them, I use them a lot, this one. So I use them to label the things that I work on. I use them to label and link cells. So I'm going to do something here. Even though I've removed the grid lines, but the cells are still here. So I'm going to introduce some few things which are outside the curriculum or scope of this training, but it will help you also to learn how to construct your dashboard and make them interactive. So I'm going to do something like here, January let's get up to June. Then let's say January. Let's say here I have ART reports. Okay, so something like this now. Just know that I'm sure that some of you may have encountered a problem like this. You don't know how to, you don't see where to drag this thing. You just notice that these things are out. And you also notice that your ribbons are not showing. You don't know what to do. Okay, so these are some of the things that can happen. So I am going to, here I'm going to do, we have done data validation. So let me just do something here. Let me go to my data validation. So I'm going under that particular place, I'm going to get a list. So I'm going to say 2021, sorry, 2021, 2022, and 2023. Okay, so here I have this. So let me just put a color there to know that, yes, we can actually choose something here. Okay, so I have this there. Now, if I want to give a report like ART report, January 2021. So this is what I want to appear here. And let me put some, I'm going to use this. Let's say I'm using 10 and 50. Okay, I don't want this to move around, so let me fix it. I'll fix it here. So here, I'm going to insert a chart. Let me look at recommended charts. Say, okay, let me just use this one. We are just trying to explain something. All right, so, and here, this is my chart title. And here, what I need to do right now is I want this thing, this text to appear here. I know I can simply go straight to write it, but I want it to change. I want it to be able to change depending on what I choose. Okay, so what I need to do is I click here and I have removed my formula bar. So I need my formula bar to do what I need to do here. So let me click, let me go back here and let me go back here, click my view. Let me bring my formula bar because I need it to do what I need to do now. So I need to link this to pick value, to pick this value. So selecting this my object, I'm going ahead to do either of two things. I either come to my formula bar and click. I'm sure you can see the cursor blinking, which means I can type. So that is one. Then I can go ahead and type equals. So once I have typed equals, I come here and pick and click this and I enter. Already you see that this object is now bearing whatever that is here right now. So the next thing I need to do is to begin to make this thing to look appealing. So what I have just done now, I have linked this my object to pick data from this E12. You can see that this is E12. Look at the name box here. This is E12 on column E, row 12. So this is picking value from here. If for any reason this is dynamic and can change, this will also change. Whatever this point here picks, this will pick it. So now I am going to make something here right now. So what I need, let me also put this, so that since I don't have grid, let me color it like this so that I will also know that something is here. Now I'm going to delete this. You see that our object has nothing in it because this is empty. So what I need to do right now is to create something here. Now, what I said I was going to do, which is outside the scope of this training, is to use my text functions, especially the concatenate. There is a function called concatenate, and what it does is it combines text strings from different cells, adding them together. So what this means is I am going to pick this one, let's say ART reports for 2021. If you don't understand this concatenate, don't worry, it's not part of this training, but just to tell you that those are the things that work together with your dashboard to make them dynamic. So I'm going to ahead to click equals to concatenate. Concatenate is, like I said, it brings strings from different cells into one cell. So the concatenate, just like any other function, will be giving you tips, asking you for the things you need to define. Right now, it's asking me to define my text number one, since this function brings text together into one cell. So I am going to put this one. Then I am done with that. I'm going to put a comma. So it's asking me text 2. Now, for the benefit of those who do not understand this concatenate, I'm going to do it and then give us a little bit explanation. So this is text 1. The text 2 is what we want to look is January ART reports or January 2021 ART reports. So we have selected January. The next thing is we are going to select this, comma, and then this. Then I close my brackets, I enter. So already you see this is January 2021 ART report, which is here, as you can see on our introduced object. But if you look closely, January, there ought to be a space between January and 2021, and there ought to be a space between that year and ART reports. So I am going ahead to introduce those spaces. And this is where I say I'm going to do it so that those of you who do not understand this may also gain. So I'm going right inside it. Now look at my formula bar. I'm going to introduce a space in between those text fields. When you are dealing with Excel, a space is a character. And if you are going to introduce a space, you need to put them in quotation marks. I have not put any quotation marks here because I am making references. I'm going to just do a different one again to bear this so that you will see how you can just go straight and do your concatenate without making references to cells. With this concatenate that we are doing right now, I have made references to cells. The references I have made are to B5, E2, and C2. But now I want to introduce a text, which is a space. So in between the B5 and E2, there ought to be a space. So I'm going ahead to click there. I am going to put quotation marks whenever we are introducing a text in a function or a formula. So I'm opening my quotation mark. I need a space, so that my space, I'm going to hit my space bar. I have introduced that. Then, since I am done with that text string, I'm going to close it with a quotation mark. You will see that these two quotation marks are bordering that space that I've introduced. And because it's a text, I'm going to confirm that I am done imputing that text. So I am going now also look here. Excel is asking me text 2 because B5 here is text 1. My text 2 is the space which I have introduced. And for you to introduce a text, you need to put them in inverted commas or quotation marks. So I open my quotation mark, and then I put the space, and then I closing it. Now I need to confirm to Excel that I am done defining the second text by placing a comma. So I have B5 and a space, and I've confirmed that that space, that's what I need to put. Now I'm going ahead to hit OK. You will see that we have introduced a space between January and then 2021. So let me enter. You can see that here on our object, there is a space here. The same thing here, we have a space. Although you know that this object is picking values from here. So let's also put another space between 2021 and ART. Again, we select here. And then this 2021 is E2. And then ART report as a whole is C2. So I'm going to click in between them to introduce that space. And introducing the space, I'm going to start with my opening quotation mark. Then what is the text that I want to introduce? Is space. I put a space, and then I put my quotation mark, closing it, and then I am going ahead to confirm by placing a comma. And when I enter, I've created the spaces as they should be. So I now have my ART 2021, sorry, January 2021 ART reports. So this is how you do this concatenate, by making references to a cell. Now, assuming I don't want to make references to a cell, I just want to go ahead and type it. For everything that has advantage, there is a disadvantage. For me, I prefer making references to cells because it may change. Now, assuming we come here and say, let us present for 2022. The moment I change this, all of them are going to change. You can see here has changed now to 2022. Also here has changed to 2022. If I go ahead and make this 2023, 2023, here also is changing 2023, the same thing 2023. So that's the essence of making references to cell values. So I will just do the other one using text directly without making references to cell. But this one, you know that you have done it, you're not going to change it. So I'm going ahead to say concatenate. So what is my first test? I'm going to say my text, because I'm going to say farm say do farm say do. Okay, that's I'm supposed to, let me think about farm say do. Let's see. Okay, right now, it wouldn't make any sense for me to just type everything in text. I might as well type them without using the concatenate. Okay, so it's best when I make a direct input, text input, and then make reference to a cell. so that it will make meaning. I can go ahead and type all these things, but it doesn't really make, it does not offer any benefit since I can go ahead and type everything without using concatenate. So I'm going to say from Seidu. So I'm going to put this. From Seidu 2023 ART reports, I close it. So let's see what this is giving me. You see this from Seidu. Again, you notice that there is no space between Seidu 2023 and then 2023 ART. So I can simply go back here and begin to make those spaces. This, I'm sure you note this down by now. That is the space there. And I need a space here also. I need a space here. Comma. I enter. You now see that I have also typed a text directly and then combining them with values here. So I can simply come here and say, this my chart. The title of this chart is F2. You know, I told you can directly click on this formula bar or you click F2. Once I click F2, my cursor begins to blink here, which means it's ready to pick values. But whenever you are dealing with Windows, I think it's basically Windows, and you select something and you press F2, you are activating the edit mode. You can use it, try it when you open a folder, you click Excel, you click any file and then press F2. You have activated rename, that is edit mode. Okay, so that's what we are doing right now. I've clicked here, so it looks as if it's anticipating that we want to rename it. So we need to say this is equals to this, and we enter. So it's not telling us this here. So assuming that we bring this down under here, so let's now begin to work around this. We are going to beautify this later on, but now let us pause and then find out if there are questions regarding what we have discovered, what we have covered so far. Remember, what we have covered is the insertion or introduction or creation of a floating object, which is what we have done here. 2, we have also learned that we can link the object to pick values from cells. 3, we have also learned how to use concatenate to mix or to bring together text, text from different cells and also direct input to make a sentence. And then we can now link that sentence to the object, and we can also link it to any chart title. Okay, so let me just pause now and find out if there are questions. So please, you can raise your hand. You can send the charts. This is 8:41. By 8:45, we will hit on the road again. If there are no questions, just like before, you can type and say no question, no question. Then we can even go before the 4 minutes elapse. So thank you. I'm waiting. Okay, Tina is asking, how did I do the drop down menu for the years? We did that, I think that was second or third session. That is under data validation. It's a drop down, and we also learned dependable drop down when we looked at the countries and the states under each country and the local government under each state. So what we did here was to, let me just explain with here. There are two, okay, we described 3 different ways to insert our drop down. We say, okay, let's say now we have this our year. So we have 2021, 2022, 2023. And then let's say here again, we have gender, we have male, we have, excuse me, female, female. Good. Then we have, okay, now let's not just, because, okay, as this is not, we did and we recorded that, but let me just explain one of these, and then I will refer you to that lecture, that session, that the recording we did. So if I want to, okay, now let me remove this. So I go to data, and I'm going to clear it by clicking here. This is my data validation. I'm going ahead to clear it. Okay, it is off. So there is nothing here again. So let me delete that. So what we need to do if we are looking at a drop-down menu is to click wherever we want to introduce that drop-down menu. We go to the data, then we come to the data validation option, and then by default, it allows, the cells allow any value, but our concern is to restrict the values it will select to a list, and we are going to define that list. So if I want to put for the gender, the first thing is for me to do is to use text, direct input, male, separated by comma, female. I am done. So if I open here, I have male and female. That is one. So another one, again, let me color this differently. Another one, I want to use this. I want to use this. And it's good way to make reference. Sorry, this is going to do something else. So here, let me just put 2024. No. So 2024, 2025, 2026. When you have several things to impute, it wouldn't be ideal for you to start making direct inputs. It's good for you to just give this a name and then make reference to that name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm coming to my name box here, and I'm going to type and say this is year, and I enter. So this, I have changed the name of this array or this range. This is range. So when it contains other columns, that we can now call it array. So this is a range. So I have called this range year. Now what I need to do is here I want the years to pop up here. Let's have them as drop down list here. So again, I've clicked here and I'm going to my data validation and I'm clicking this. By default, like you see here, it allows any value, but I don't want that. We're interested in the list. And what is the list? So like I say, we may go ahead and list 2021, 2022, 2023, and so on and so forth. But since we have given it a name, we will ask Excel, go and look for a name and pick it. So I said the name is year, because we have listed our years and we named it as year. So I said, I've given it assignment, go and look for the year and pick the value there. I okay it. So if I click here, those things are appearing here. Now note that there is an error here that we made. We had 2021 into two places. So I can go ahead and correct it. So if I go ahead and correct this, and let's say this is my 2020, and I okay it. If I come back here, it has corrected it. See 2020, 2021. So assuming I have this several places, say here, I have it here, I have it somewhere here, and I have it somewhere, maybe in a different sheet. So let's have the last one here. Every one of them here is that. Now, the advantage of selecting this and giving it a name is if you have done this kind of great work, and then suddenly you realize that, oh, your years should actually have been before 2020. So this is 6 years, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're actually supposed to do before 2020. So what it means is here, before 2020, and if there are 6, that's about, let's say, 2013. So let's say 2013. You are making a correction now. Let's go here, 2014. Okay, let me just select these two. And so I have 2020. I have done correction at one point. I do not need to go here and here and here and here, or wherever else on the sheet or your workbook that this is. So this is the advantage of using a name range. So if I click any one of them here, this is from 2013 to 2018. What about here? 2013 to 2018. The same thing applies across all the points where this have happened. But that is not the same case if I had defined my list by typing them. If I had typed them and there is this error or this change, it would require me coming here, typing them, coming over here, typing them, coming over here, typing. And the typing is, you click here, you go to your data validation tool, pick it, and then begin that place that you type 2013, 2014. You do like that for all the cells that you have applied this. So this is a lot better, and I advocate for this. Okay, I hope that has improved our understanding of the data validation, using it to create our drop-down list. I have another question here. The linking of the shape with the title is where I need more explanation. Okay, so the linking of the shape. So this is the shape right now. And what we say is, once you have your shape, you are going to use your equal sign. So you click under your formula bar. Remember that where you want it, the shape that you want to link with the cell content is highlighted. So it's selected, and I've come to click under the in the formula bar equals. Okay, so I'm going to click anything that I want. See, originally it was January ART report, but right now I say let it pick the value that is in E14. And when I click enter, it has picked the value from this cell that I linked it to. It's the same thing that happened here in my title, my chart title. I have this, so I'm going ahead to click this, and I'm going to delete this. So what I say is that you should pick a value from anywhere that I have it. So assuming this is what I want, I click here and I enter, and the title has picked value from this point. So that's how to link your object to pick title or text or any value from cells. Okay, so the other question is this the same as dashboard? If it is it not clear to me? It is not clear to me how the dashboard was created. We are just beginning the creation of the dashboard. We started from the beginning, how we removed the grid line, how we captured more space to display our graph. And I decided to put these inputs here to show us that we can actually link values of a cell to an object. So this is the space that we are going to be using for the dashboard. So far, what we have created is I may call it a canvas. If you were in Power BI, it's like a canvas. You know, you just created a space where you are going to be placing your charts, your slicers, the objects that you have brought in, because these objects also, they are the things that beautify your dashboard, and they give meaning, they give labeling to your dashboard. Okay, so if you are following us, then we are on course. You have learned how we did this to create this space. You have also learned how we inserted this chart. It's just by selecting our table and then going to insert, and then we pick the chart that we like. We were looking at the bars or the columns or the line charts. We saw that, and then we picked recommended. So that's how we did. So all these things we are doing is just for us to explain how we can link the content of a cell to an object. Okay, so I think that is okay, so thank you. Okay, yes. Okay, Clement, you were asking how the space was created. Okay, so we went to our view tab, and then we began to uncheck what we didn't want. And finally, we came and double-clicked on any of these tabs to finally remove them, to collapse the ribbons. So that's what we did. Okay, so let me, for the benefit of those who just came in, I'm going to take it once more, but I'm just going to create discuss how we created the space, but not repeating this other concatenate and the rest. If that is okay, I will proceed. So what I did was to create, let me create a new worksheet, just like we have done now. And this is, okay, so by default, this is how, sorry, let me click. This is by default, this is how a worksheet is. So if this is how a worksheet is, I decided to remove a lot of things to create space and make it look like a dashboard, because this is where we are going to be placing our charts. So what I did was to go to my view tab. I want to remove these lines that we can see here by clicking and unchecking grid lines. That has gone off. The next thing is I don't want these header columns, this ABC, I want this to go off. And these are our headings. So I uncheck it, it goes off. Maybe I don't want this formula bar, but at least we have seen now that we may actually need it when we are linking our objects to pick values from cells. So we might leave that to be the last thing we may remove after we have done our linkages. So I need to collapse this. This whole thing is occupying space for me. I don't want it. So I can double click any of these things here. Once you double click any one of them, especially the one that is active, it collapses, leaving this alone. So I'm going ahead to double click and it's off. So I have captured more space. Finally, when I'm done with my linking my cells to, linking the objects that we have introduced on our charts to pick values from cells, I can collapse this and I go to my view, and then I will uncheck my formula bar, because this is the formula bar where we can click and check for formulas and do other things. And of course, your name box here is also going to go away. So if we are done making use of that, I can also go to my view and then check my formula bar. Sorry, cursor was there, so that's why it's not highlighted. So I want to check my formula bar to finally remove it. So you see, I've captured the space, so I can now begin to drop my what's it called, the charts and other things that I'm going to be working with. Okay, now so let's go back to this sheet. This is what we are working with. So I'm going ahead to rename this. So I'm sure you know that you can rename a tab by double-clicking it and then typing it. So this is dashboard demo. So this is what we are going to be using as our dashboard. And then I was telling us that here we need to do some formatting. So the first thing that we need to look at is I'll need my home button here to bring it to the middle. And okay, now let me also introduce us to some formatting of using, when we are dealing with objects. Okay, so I have this. let me create another one of these. Let me create another one. I just want to use this to do something for us to understand and appreciate what I want to do now. It's the same thing you can do. Okay, so let me just, assuming these things are like this, and you need them to be straight on a straight line. You need these things to be on a straight line. But this is, sorry, let me bring back my formula bar so that I can see it. I always be seeing it. Okay, this is picking value from here. Okay. Now, okay, let me also let us know that my cursor is blinking here. That is not where it's supposed to blink. If you are actually going to link it, it's supposed to be blinking here. So if you do anything here, it's either you type out everything here, or in fact, you might even run into error. So if you want to type, you type directly without the equal sign. Okay, so let me just click it back. Now I want to put these things on a straight line. The best thing that somebody might want to do is to just begin to bring these things like this way. It's going to take you time, especially if there are many of them, and you may not really be very, very accurate. Okay, I have tried to make sure that the spaces between them are equal. But assuming you don't want to do that, you just want to do it automatically, all you need to do is to select all of them. I've selected one, holding my shift down, I'm going to select all of them. I've selected all the 4, or as many as there are you want to work on. So I click on my shape. Then right here, see this align. These are the things that you can work around with that will beautify your dashboard. So I'm going ahead to click this. Now I can do left. I want you to explore all these ones. Then you actually understand and appreciate how to use any one of them. But I'm just going to use few of them, and later I'll ask you to do at your time. So right now, if you see all these things, there are some up, this one is below, this one is here. It's either I want all of them to align so that they will be in the same horizontal line with this one at the top here, or this one at the bottom here. So I want them to come to the top here. What it means is that these ones, they will dress themselves to meet up. This one that is here will dress up and catch up, and they will be exactly on equal line. So when you click here, you have selected all of them and you click there, align to top, because that is my desire, or align bottom if I want them to align here. So let's get the top. When you click this, every one of them comes at the same line. Now, the reason why this is necessary is you are looking at dashboard. Dashboard are supposed to look perfect. They are supposed to have the best combination, so that when somebody looks at it, he will be interested to look at it again and see what is happening on the dashboard. So it's good for you to make sure that your alignment is perfect, and you can use this. Again, let's see if the spaces in between them are equal. They are not. I made an attempt. The best I can do is to start to drag this one this way, drag this one this way. But I can also use what we have used now to make sure that the spaces in between these objects are the same. So I click here, I'm going ahead to select all of them, holding my sheet to select each one. I've selected all of them. And again, I go to my shape format, go to this alignment. Now, what do I need to do? I need to move these things horizontally. When this one shifts like this, or the shift left or right, that is horizontal movement. So I'm going to ask Excel to distribute it for me horizontally. So when I click this horizontal movement, it has done that automatically. So you see that the space between each object is the same. Okay, so that is one thing that you need to understand. And again, if these objects, I want to be moving them at the same time, I need to group them together. So I click here, click, click, click. I've selected them. I come to my shape object. I come to group here. I group them. So they have become one object. So anywhere you click and you click, you have selected all of them. So it's easy to move them at the same time. Okay, so I just felt I should also mention this when you are working with objects. Now, I need to break them apart and then delete the other ones, and then let's focus on one. So I have selected it. Remember, it's one object now. So I'm going ahead under my group and I'm grouping them. So each of them is independent now. So I click this, I click this, I click this, I'm deleting them. I have this now left. Right now, let's do some formatting here. Now I have this. Remember, I came to home here and I click this. Here is, what is it called? Right. This is middle. This is, or rather, this is right, middle, and left alignment. So I like middle, I like center, and then I want to bring it to the middle here. So I go back to my shape. I come here. Okay, no, not here. Let me see. Let's go back to the home. See what let's take this middle here. This is middle alignment, and this is center alignment. So, and I need to increase this font size, and then also increase or change the font style. So I can come over here and do this, and let's just do some beautification. Let's apply formatting to make it beautiful. I know these are the things you can apply on your own, so we may not just waste time, but let me just apply some things here. So I might decide this. When I click outside, I don't want the borders around it. So I click here, go to my shape. I don't want borders, so I click no border. When I click here, click outside, it's getting better. Then I click again. Let me go back to my shape, and I'm going to apply some effects. When I click here, let's look at bevel. You can look at any of these. This is the different thing that you can look at. So let's look at the one that I'm interested in. Let's say we choose this one. If we choose this one, see the way it's going to look like. Okay, so if you bring this, I'm going to bring this one here. Okay, and if you see this color and this color, they don't really match. So you might decide to change the color, or you may decide to change this one. Okay, so when you come here, I'm going to do this and format my data series, and I'm coming over here to my color, and then choose here. Let me choose something that is close to this, something like this. Okay, and let me go away from here. So this looks something, it's looking like something beautiful. And for me, if I have this, my lines here, this my axis defined, I don't like these lines, these grid lines. Personally, I don't like it. I'm not saying you should don't like it, but personally, I don't. So I need to remove that. I clean my chart area. So I'm unchecking this, okay? And sometimes I prefer that these ones, this data series will have their values. So I don't like this. It's also my own personal view. So I'm going to uncheck the vertical. I click this, it goes off. And then what I need to do is my label. I need to put label. And so where do I want my data label to appear? Let's put it at the top end. At the top end or outside end, let's put this. So this makes a lot of sense for me. Okay, you can see this is beautiful, but then you know that this chart area has a color. You can make it transparent. Now, for us to better understand that, let us apply color on our dashboard, the background. So I'm going ahead to click here. Okay, we may not do that until we bring back the headers. So let me go back to view. I click my headers. It comes down. So I click here to select the entire spreadsheet. And then I come to my home, just the way you apply color. Let's apply black and see if it's looking fine. Okay, if this is what you want, fine, you can use this. But remember that you have covered all your write-ups. But if you want to be using your write-ups, you can also go ahead and use white. And then they come back again. At the end of it all, you can hide whatever you are doing. All right, so this is one way, the things you can do to beautify your dashboard. Remember, we're talking about this. If I want to remove the color on this, all I need to do is to come to my format, and I think this can work. No fill is taking the background that I have here because it's now transparent. So if this is not very beautiful for you, if I click here, there's this outline. If this does not look beautiful for you, you can go ahead and do some other things. Let's say, as we will make this thing a little bit fainter, not really dark. Say we choose something like this. If this is what you want, you can go ahead. Just choose your color combination the way you want it. Okay, so I have here, let me go back and choose black. Let's see, which one do we choose? Remember that what we are doing is entirely at your discretion. You know your audience. You know what they like. So this is all that we can look at. Okay, somebody is suggesting gray color. So whatever you want to use, let's see, gray, is this gray? Can we go this way, darker? Can this work? Are you sure I understand gray color at all? Light gray. Okay, let's say dark gray, light gray again. Let's say gray. Okay, let's use this. Okay. It's like this, our sister, I understand color combination very well. Okay, so these gels, if this is what you want, you can go ahead and place all your other things here, bearing in mind that you need to change everything to look the way they are. Okay, so this is an aspect that we need to know. This is inserting our chart and so on and so forth. So assuming I want to get a total here, and I'm going to insert, let me insert a pie chart, this, okay? So I can place it here if this is what I want. So I can click here, equals to ART report, enter. It has picked that. And the background, I don't want this background color. It's not doing fine. So let me go back to my shape. No fill. It's not taking the, it's now transparent, reflecting what is behind. However, if you like, let me undo that. Let me undo that and decide to use gray color. Let's see what happens. Fill color is gray, something like this. Is it something like this? See, I hope, okay, great. So I've used this now. Now you see that this is a covering whatever that we see here, like this, our year and gender. So these are the things or possibilities that you can play around with. Okay, so here I also need to tell us something that I can duplicate this. So let's duplicate this. And then let's see where this is picking its value. It's also picking it in 14. It's also picking it. So whenever this changes, this changes. But if assuming you want to change this, say this is Tina, what is it called? Viral load assessments. And what we want is just see what's going to happen to this wonderful work we have done. I'm going to pick it from here. I hope this is it. Let's be sure. Good. Okay. You will see that my text has lost its formatting. The text is no longer like this. It has lost its formatting, which means you need to start applying those formatting again. So you can either click here, come to your home and pick this your format painter, if this is exactly what you want, and then click it here so that it will pick whatever you have here. Even though this is picking this value here, but it has applied the same formatting that you had here over here. So I did not need to change anything that I've done here. So this is a mini macro that we can use. Okay, so I will stop here and entertain questions and then ask us to do a bit of dashboard construction and playing around. This may take time, so we will not give you only 10 minutes. So let's play around with 15 minutes. So over, if there are questions, I would like to entertain them. If there are none, let's go ahead and use 15 minutes to test, practice what we have done. So our time starts now. By 9:30, we will resume the next topic, which is charts and graphs with pivot table, pivot charts. So good luck.
Okay.
Okay, so let's take 2 minutes to find out how far we fared. So, Famsedu, as your hand is up, we'll not to find from you. How did it go with you?
No, it has gone well. The only challenge, when I put that data, run between 10 to 50. So you have done something to lock them up so that if you are conducting other activity, they will not be tampered.
Okay.
So
okay.
I didn't get that. I think that's the only challenge I had.
Okay, no problem. We'll explain that. Abiola, I hope you joined early. I saw you joining, maybe I didn't know if you joined earlier. So Abiola, I want to find out from you, did you join us from the beginning?
Good evening. Yes, I did.
Okay, so that's fine. Any problem?
No, everything is fine.
All right, that's great. Adeshola, your network has been fine. You haven't been ejected. I hope you understood the concept we have treated this evening.
Yes, sir.
Okay, everything is fine, right? Okay. So, Belinda, you just joined. I just noticed you joined a while ago. I don't know if you have been here before. So, how has it been?
I was here and the network kicked me out. So
Okay.
I didn't quite get some of the stuff. So I'll just follow up with as explanations are going on.
Okay. So that's fine. And again, once we share the recording, it will enhance further understanding and you fill the gaps. So Blessing, over to you. How will you say you have fared?
I'm getting it better, but when you share the recording, I'll follow more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Thank you.
That's fine. Okay, so Clement, we are on you. Hello, Clement, are you there? Okay, so Fumi Awotunde. Fumi, it's as if this is your first session. Did you join us in the morning? I can barely hear her. Okay, your network might be a bit unfriendly. I am not hearing it very well. Okay, Clement just say he joined late. Okay, I think Fumi may be experiencing an internet challenge. Okay, just about making a guess. She wants to go through the recording to catch up. Okay, so Juliana. Hello, Juliana.
I'm fine, thank you. I'm good, thank you.
Okay. So that's lovely. Hello, Famdilian. Hello, Famdilian. Yeah. Is everything all right?
Yes, fine. Yes, I'm doing quite fine. I'm doing okay. Thank you.
Okay, I love to hear that. So, Dr. Sunday Ochai, how far?
Yes, I believe with the recording to be clearer.
Okay. So that's fine. Thank you. And Zira, how far?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I've used my phone. I did not practice it because my computer has crashed. So maybe during the recording, I will do it after repairing my.
Okay. So Fimi has just reported that her network is unstable. Yes, we can see that. So we believe that the recording will help and reinforce learning. Okay, so thanks for the feedback. And we'll now look briefly into charts and graphs with pivot charts. Okay, so we are going to look at our table and see how we'll be able to use pivot charts to do our graph and charting. So permit me to delete everything here. I'm going ahead to delete everything here. Is somebody still trying to speak or what? Okay. So we are going ahead to delete everything that we have here. I have no fear that with what we have done now, everybody understands. So our dashboard is clean now. Now let's go to our pivot table. So remember, this was what we were working on. And right now, let's see what we can do with these questions. So I'm going to pick these questions, copying them, and I'm dropping them on our pivot table. And I don't want to run into problems. So I'm going to do this. And here, I need to, my pivot table, let me remove this. Remember, you can do this. We are back to square. So I am selecting the entire entire this thing. I'm dropping them here. This is so I'm going to just drop this one over here. All right, so this will help us to trying to fix. Let's just delete this. Good. So we can have okay, so this is what we are going to do. And why not just bring this one over here? Let's shift this. I want to create space for myself. So let's keep it here. Okay, so this is what we are going to be working with. So let's look at the first question. Show all staff in the West building. Show all staff in the West building. So our focus is building, and then we will isolate, or we will bring out the one in the West. So building, and then let's see if we carry this building and put here. You want the building also here. Let's see. I'm trying to work around something. So I'm interested in the West. Okay, that is not giving us. So let's put this here. This is West. Then, okay. Let's see if we can apply a filter. I'm trying to get the names. We know how many people are there in the West building. So let's get, where is our building? Let's get our West here. So there are 121 in the West building. So, but the question is, we need to see their names. Let's see what we can do. I'm trying, there is an option that we can use to bring out those names. Let's see here. Okay. Let's introduce slicer. Slicer, like we explained in the morning, is what helps us to filter. So let's go ahead and click under our pivot table analyze. Let's click slicer, and we want to see building. So if I click building and I click employee, I've selected 2 items. So I click this. Now, West is selected, and then these are the people in the West. So if I click this one, these are the names. There are 63 of them here, you can see. So this is my slicer, and okay, I think, let me explain the slicer and the different options. So I'm deleting that. I'm deleting this. Sorry. Okay. So I need to introduce the slicer. The slicer helps us to filter out the variable of interest to us. Just like we say we want to show the staff in the West building, or any building for that matter. So we are going to click here. Of course, we need to click on the pivot table to activate this, and also activate every other feature that we'll be working with under the pivot table. So we have this pivot table analyze. That is where the slicer is. So we click this, it opens up. This is our slicer. Now, these slicers, you see the different options that you can create based on those fields that are here. In the morning, we counted they were 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So our interests, let's look at the other questions here. All the staff in the West building. So we are looking at the building. How many staff are in Watson building and ADC department? So we're also looking at department. So the staff that we are showing talks about the names of the employees. The staff in the Watson building and here ADC department, we're also looking at building and department. So these are the headers that we are going to be creating slicers for. What is the total salary? We don't need that. These are calculated fields. This last one is a calculated field, which is not there in our original data. So, but what is the total salary for all employees? We can simply answer that question by dragging our salary to this point, this value point. But right now, we don't need to create a slicer for it. So we have created a slicer for employee name, for building, for department. The reason why we are creating this slicers for them is because we want to see a portion of each of these headers. For the employee, there are some employees that are in the West building. So we need to select those ones. They're interested in the names. For the building, they are looking at Western and West building. That's why we have building there. They are also looking at departments. How many staffs are in ADC department? That's why we have departments selected to create a slicer for. So having done this, we go ahead and click OK. Then we have 3 slicers for those 3 items, or those 3 headers that we have selected. Okay, so now let's go ahead and begin to work towards getting the answer. How many staff are in the West building? So this is my West building. So these are the staff, and they are all across this. You see these ones that are in gray, these ones are not here. These are all the people, and there are 121. Now, let's look at the different options we have or that we can apply on the slicer. We say that there are 127 slicer names here, and this is too small to contain them. But there's something we can do. We can click here and go to our option, slicer option here. We click this slicer, it opens up. We can change this one to different columns. See, if I expand this right now, it's not showing me anything, but I need to create more columns. So I can come over my slicer here. See this number of columns. I can increase it to 2. So it has contained more names. I can increase it to 3. It has contained more names. I can increase it to 4, and so on and so forth. And then I can actually open this up. Okay, so as we are not working on this here, let me just set this one up so that it can remain permanent here for me. Okay, so this is one thing we will do. And looking at the color of our dashboard, we can also change this to look like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, no need to count them. There are 121, as we can see. So I can come over to this slicer again and see this option. I think this fits what we are doing. If this does not fit it, let's look for the one that is grayer, this. or we can open up here and choose whichever one. But it's best when you have taken these things to the other side that you can now apply those options. So if I want to look at those that are in the main building, what do we have here? 200. What about North? 221, and these are their names. South, 70 of them. Taft, 63 of them. Watson, okay, Watson and Taft is the same. West, 127. And these are all their departments. Okay, so we have been able to answer this question. Show all the staff in the West building. This is my West. And okay, we didn't apply any filter here, so everything is fine there. Now, if we want to look at not the staff that are in Western building and ADC, so we can also bring this is Watson building and ADC department. So let's bring our department here also. Then let's get building here. Okay. Sorry, I'm supposed to have shown you that error. What happened there? That is what happens when you are placing different things very close together. Now, what happened was I was bringing this building to the department, and it gave me a warning that there is a data in the pivot table. Whether you want to replace it, you begin to wonder, what is the data? Now, once you bring this here, you are bringing it also here. So let's see what's going to happen if we say, okay, look at this pivot table here, department all, there is a space here, there is this, there's this. So if we say go ahead, how does it look like? It has removed that. It's going to distort whatever you're working on. So let me undo that. Okay, so those are the things that you need to also look out for. All right, so let's see how many staffs are in Weston. So I may not need this. This is usually better when you are making presentation. It's easy for you to click this and you see the values of those highlighted items. So let's just keep this here. When we are dealing with graphs and see how it works, then we'll better appreciate it. Okay, so let's look at how many staffs are in Watson building and ADC department. This also, you can work very well if you use slicer, like we have said. You come over to the department, you click ADC, and they say ADC and Watson. This is Watson. So there's only one person in Watson building. Who is that person? Employee name. Could this be, let's see. I'm trying to find out if we'll see the person's name. Watson in ADC department. Watson and ADC is one. So I'm trying to find out who that one is. Who is this person? I'm not seeing the person here. We want Watson and we want ADC. Now let me clear this filter. We want ADC and we want Watson. We ought to be seeing the person here. Okay, we are seeing one here. I can't exactly say why we are not seeing the name of that person here. Watson. Okay, so assuming it is West, there are 3 of them. Okay. Okay, so I'll get to that by the time we are meeting tomorrow. Yes, it's only one name that if assuming it's only one, but these are all in gray. They are not highlighted. So all these ones we see under the employee, they are all the employees. Just like we see here, these are all the buildings and these are all the departments. But only those ones that all of those ones affected will show. For instance, in the West building, there are 3. In the West, what do we have here? In the West building.
It was 127.
127.
In the West, was it not?
No. West and ADC departments. See, we have selected ADC
Together.
Here. We have filtered. No, we are looking at those people that are in ADC department residing in the West building. There are only 3 of them.
Okay.
Yes, there are only 3 of them. But assuming we want to see all the people, so if we clear this now, and then we'll see only 3 persons are in ADC, and these are their locations. So if we want to see how many people are in ADC department, there are a total of 5. One is in Taft building, the other one in Watson, the other one in the West. Okay, now let's look at employee. If we want the employee, let's see. So we'll now see their names. We have dragged the employee name right here. And then we have seen how the respective persons for ADC department, and these are how they are arranged. Now, if we are looking at this and we are looking at, okay, this is Taft, this is the person that is on the Taft, then these 3 persons are those in the West. This was what I wanted to see here, but I didn't see that in the name. It's supposed to highlight. I don't know why it didn't highlight. Okay. I didn't know why it didn't highlight, but we have the other option of bringing the employee right under the row field so that it can give us the names. Now, remember that one other feature we talked about regarding pivot table is that it can help you to view it from different perspectives. Now, assuming we come under our pivot table, let me bring out the pivot table field. Here we have the building at the top and the employee below. What if we had brought the employee first and then the building under it? Then it's going to give us a different outlook. So let's do it. I'm clicking, dragging, and holding it and bringing it downward. And I have my employee name first and the building second. So you'll now see that the name is the first and the building goes under the names. You can see this is the employee. This is the employee. This is another employee under West. So these are West. You can view it in a way, assuming the question was, let's see the staff and their respective buildings. So now you are looking at the buildings under each staff. But the question was, let us see the buildings and their respective staff. So that means the building will come first, we carry this building to the top, and then you bring the employee downward. Okay, so these are the different ways you can view your pivot table. You can use your pivot table to view your data from different perspectives. Okay, so unfortunately, time will not permit us to go beyond here. By tomorrow, we will see how we'll be able to. Okay, for the salary, this one, what is the total salary for all employees in training? That one is very simple. All we need to do is, we have created this pivot table. We can create a new one. By tomorrow, I will show us how we can use this to create a new pivot table. But right now, let us remove everything. I'm removing everything. I'm removing everything. And then let's see the fresh. It's asking us, what is the total salary for all employees in training? So what we need to do is to bring our employees and bring our salary. That's my salary. Salary, like I say, automatically comes here. But then we are interested in the salary for training departments. So I can come over here, because we are looking at this point here, I can come over here and pick our department. Let's put it under filter here. And then we are interested in the training. So I click this up, I open this, and then I go down and look for my training. And I okay it. So if you go down now, this is the grand total. And these are the staff under this department. So I have answered this. And then let's just introduce how we can use pivot charts to do our charts. So this all I need to do is then see my pivot chart here. Where is my pivot chart? Can anybody see it? Pivot chart, see pivot chart here. So I click this and this pops up, just like you will click and go to this. Okay, so I can also go ahead and click any of these that I'm interested in. So tomorrow we'll just test all these ones to know those ones that you cannot use pivot table to run the charts. So if this is what we want, we can go ahead and click this one and then okay it. Then let's now pick this one, take it to, let's take this to our, yes, our dashboard. Our dashboard, let's drop it here. We have this here. Let's go back to the pivot here, and we can pick our slicers. I hope they are still active. We need to connect them. Okay, so let me pick them and take them to my here. So here I have this. The only two that were picked. Okay, so I need to something. Was this what we got, or what happened? It changed or something? Okay, depending on what you choose. See, as we are choosing here, you are also changing the whatever you are seeing here. Okay, they are all changing because these are connected. All right, so I will not want to take us beyond this for now. When we come back tomorrow evening, we will now continue and then delve into some scenarios. So any questions?
I think maybe the question will come up tomorrow after we practice, because to me, it is somehow tricky. I can only get it better when I practice later.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to do my best to load everything and then share. Okay, so Lillian is requesting that this one should be repeated tomorrow. Fine. Yes, we are going to repeat it so that we can have a better understanding. Any more questions? All right, so no more questions. Thank you, Zira. Yes, we'll practice more. When you practice, then let's see your experiences. So thank you, everyone. It's been a lovely time. See you tomorrow evening.
Thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your night's rest.